Hey everyone, we recently released the Season 2 preview patch, so in this video I'd like to talk about what's new and announce the date of Season 2, which will be October 18th. So you can mark that on your calendar. That is the planned date for the start of Season 2, and that's important because we have added many new features. However, for example, these runes that allow you to modify items. However, you will not be able to add runes to items until the start of Season 2. So a crafting counter is not available. That will appear at the blacksmith, where you can take a rune and add it to any item that has sockets. For example, this one has 6 sockets. So you would be able to add 6 different runes to that item to customize it to your liking. So right now we're just monitoring drop rates of the runes, and we're keeping an eye on any bugs that may be a concern. So far it looks like it's pretty good. There are a couple minor issues, but those have already been patched. And so let's talk about the runes first of all. There are 33 different runes in the game at this point. Some of course are extremely rare and many are much more common. So here's an example. They will do, this one modifies attack, and if it's a two-hand weapon it doubles the effect, and for armor it has a completely separate property that it modifies. So, and every rune is like that. It's a similar kind of idea. This one modifies weapon speed and dexterity. This one magic find. And this is an example of a rune that actually has the same effect but just a slightly different value. Based on whether it's a weapon or it's armor. So let's show you an example of what this might look like. This item, this wasn't actually crafted. I just kind of mocked this up so that you could see what the tooltip looks like. As you can see, an ethereal item kind of has this low opacity appearance. We can kind of see through it. So it gives it an ethereal appearance. And here at the bottom of the tooltip, you will see it says Ethereal 100. And what that means is that as you use the item, there's a chance for it to degrade in combat. So maybe after a few battles, you'll look at the tooltip and it'll say, hey, now it's 96 Ethereal. So that'll continue to degrade until it gets to 0, and then the item will destroy itself. And at that time, you can't use it anymore. So ethereal items have limited usage. However, they are more powerful. So it will boost the base damage of the weapons, and if it's armor, it'll boost the base armor. So they are more powerful. However, their usage is limited. And this property also relates to the next one down on the tooltip, indestructible. So if you have both of these properties together, that means that the item will be permanent and that the ethereal effect will not cause it to degrade. And some uniques and set items will come with this property, which means that if they happen to roll ethereal, that you will be able to keep that item in the ethereal state. So there's a low chance of that happening, but when it does happen, that means that you can keep that item and use it without concerns about losing durability. So that's an interesting thing to keep an eye out for. And let's move to socketed. Of course, that just means how many runes you can put inside of it. And after you do put a rune inside of the socket, it will indicate which runes were used at the bottom of the tooltip. So it's not just legendary or unique or set items that can have sockets. You can have sockets on, I don't think I have an example here, but you can have a socket on, and here's a unique, for example. You can have a unique on magic, rare, and even plain white items. So you can modify quite a lot of items. And just keep in mind that in the future, you will be able to make rune words, which are special types of items where you take a white item with sockets inside of it. So let's say, for example, you find a bow that has 6 sockets. And then there would be some crafting recipes that allow you to add the sockets, add the runes to the socket, and then it will convert the item into a completely new item if you put in a special list of runes. And then at that point, it will become a completely different item with its own properties. And that will only work with white items. You couldn't take like a yellow item and then add, 3 runes to it and make it some brand new item. It would have to start with, you have to start with a white item in order to do rune words. However, that will not be available at the start of season 2, but that is something that is coming. So I do just want to briefly mention that. But at the start of season 2, what you will be able to do is you will simply be able to add these sockets, add items to these sockets. So for the first time, you'll be able to modify existing items. And yes, the monsters will receive a little bit of a health bonus to compensate for the fact that you're going to have ethereal weapons. You're going to be able to improve many of your items. Not every item can have sockets, but weapons and shields and helmets and armor can. Now, ethereal items can apply to many more sockets, like gloves and pretty much everything except for jewelry. So you will see the ethereal property pop up on many more items than sockets. So that pretty much covers the season 2 preview patch changes. Definitely log in, check it out, and see what kind of new stuff was in the game. We also plan to add more legendaries at some point, but first we need to take care of the whole crafting system, make sure that's good to go. And yeah, also one last thing I will mention is that we are working on a traditional Chinese translation, so you can expect, we already have simplified Chinese in there. However, our player base has quite a few people that have asked for a traditional Chinese translation, so that is coming. So look forward to that. Anyhow, that is all we have for you in this video, and we'll see you at the start of season 2 on October 18th. Take care, guys. See you next video.